إن الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء وعلى آله وأصحابه ومن والاه وبعد. My dear brothers and sisters, welcome to the class on entrepreneurship. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make this a means of khair and guidance and benefit for all of us, inshallah. I want to start by showing you the picture of an entrepreneur. This guy is my role model. I don't know who he is. I took this photograph in Pune when I was going past. The car stopped at a traffic light. But see him. He has an identity of which he is confident and proud. He has given his contact phone number. See the way he sits. He's sitting on the pavement, but he can use a black cloth or he can use a khaki cloth, but he does not use. He uses a white cloth, which is easily dirtied, but he uses a white cloth because he wants you to know that he keeps it clean. So you can imagine if he keeps that cloth clean, then obviously the quality of his work will be reflected by who he is. He's dressed in whatever the best he can afford, so it's perfectly good clothes. His tools are not randomly placed, they are placed in line, in alignment with each other. Going by, and a lot of this is of course my assumption, but going from where he is, he had possibly many other not so honorable options of how to earn a living, but he chooses to do this. So in my view, he is embodiment and symbol of courage, of enterprise, of creativity, of confidence, and you can name a few more qualities. I want to begin with the Hadith of Mirza Yawar Baig, where he narrated the meaning of which is that no one ever eats anything better than that which he earned with his own hands. And he said, Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, Dawud alayhi salam used to eat that which he earned with his own hands. Now, of course, this also applies to people who are in employment. It's not to say that only entrepreneurs earn with their own hands. All honest effort is included in this, inshallah. But obviously, this applies very, very closely to people who are in entrepreneurial, self-employed options. And that's why, in my view, entrepreneurship is a reflection of tawakkul ala Allah. Now, there is a belief in the minds of a lot of people, because whenever I talk about entrepreneurship, and if I, for example, ask you a question and say, raise your hands all those who would like to own their own businesses. And that's the usual thing. I mean, almost everyone will put up his hand. You would like to own. But if you ask me how many new businesses are started every year, there's not even a fraction of the number of people who claim to want to own their own businesses. A matter of great shame is that if you ask, given say for example in this country we have so many Indian institutes of management. First there were 3, A, B and C, and then now there are many more. But if you ask this question and say, how many students graduate every year from the Indian institutes of management, given roughly it's about 200 students per institute, give or take a few, add up all the institutes, you probably are close to looking at about maybe 2,000, 2,500 students who are graduating every year from the premium business schools of this country. Ask this question and say, how many new businesses are started by those students? I will be very surprised if you find if you get even to 2 figures, may not even be that much, I mean not even 10, maybe less than 5. So the whole purpose of business education is to create more people in need of employment, which is completely insane, but that's how our education system is geared. So that's why I thought why entrepreneurship, because we live with these figments of our imagination. We believe that employment is safer, we believe that employment is is where you get your due, and if you are loyal to the company is loyal to you. All of these are figments of the imagination. In employment, no matter how hard you work, you get the same salary. The harder you work, the more your employer benefits. I'm not saying don't work hard. I'm just saying these are the realities. And when your employer makes a mistake, you lose your job. In the subprime crisis in the United States, people lost their homes. Whose mistake was it? The homeowner's mistake or the mistake of the bankers? And who got rewarded for it? The bankers. They got almost $1 trillion of award because they sank the whole economy. Right? That is the reality of life. Now, why entrepreneurship? Because in entrepreneurship, you work hard, you get more. You work hard, you benefit. You make a mistake, you suffer, which is fair. But you don't suffer for somebody else's mistake. And when you learn, you prosper. So that is why entrepreneurship, I believe, is a reflection of self-confidence. I believe entrepreneurship is something that is the answer to our problems of this world. I'll tell you now why, in a minute, why I'm saying of the world. However, when you want to become an entrepreneur, there are 3 lies that we tell ourselves. Those who want to become entrepreneurs, there are 3 lies they tell themselves. They say that they will be able to sleep more. I don't have to go to work at 7 o'clock in the morning. Absolutely right. You have to go to work at 4 o'clock in the morning. They think they have more free time, so I can do side projects, I can indulge my hobbies, I can do this and that. And they believe that they can work from home, which is the best thing to do. Just get out of your bed, sit in your lungi and do your work. The truth is that you won't wake up at 7, you wake up at 3. You will not only not have free time, you will have no free time at all. And working from home is a very bad idea. Now, I have worked from home. Having said that, I have worked from home from the day I became an entrepreneur, which was in 1983. A long time before many of you were born even. But I am very different from a lot of people. I'm not boasting, that is the reality. When I work, I work. The whole world can go to hell, I don't care. And I'm working, nobody disturbs me, nobody bothers me. I dress for work, and when I'm working, nothing but nothing comes in my way. Now if you can discipline your life like that, all power to you. But 99.999% of the people can't discipline their lives like that. So working from home is a very bad idea. So get ready when you want to become an entrepreneur to understand that you will sleep less, you will have no free time, and you will not be comfortable, and that's the reason you need passion. Because the only way you will be happy is if you love that kind of life. And that's the call you have to make. I know a lot of people who talk about becoming entrepreneurs but never do. I know several people who became entrepreneurs and went back into employment for these reasons. So 3 lies we tell ourselves. A good idea not to tell lies to yourself. Now, why did I say that entrepreneurship is the solution to all problems? Because entrepreneurship, in my view, is not about business. It's about the willingness to take responsibility for your own life. So anybody can be an entrepreneur in any situation whatsoever. You don't have to be a business owner for that. You are an entrepreneur as long as you stand up and say, I am responsible for what happens to me. And I am taking ownership of my life, and I will do what is necessary to make the results that I want to happen. So 2 critical requirements of entrepreneurship, of entrepreneurial success. 1 is be unrealistic, and 2, be unreasonable. Absolutely critical. If you are realistic, you will fail. If you are reasonable, you will absolutely fail. Why must you do that? Because your future depends on it. You want to be successful, be unrealistic, be unreasonable. You don't want to take my word for it? Take the word of George Bernard Shaw. He said, a reasonable man adapts himself to the world. The unreasonable one persists in trying to adapt the world to himself. Therefore, all progress depends on the unreasonable man. Change the word man to woman, exactly the same solution. George Bernard Shaw was chauvinistic. Therefore, I want to begin with what I call the slide of life. First day, first job. What did you want to achieve? Anybody, quick? Hello? First day, first job, what was in your heart? Success. You wanted to be successful. Sure. What else?
Excitement.
Excitement. What else? Money. Yes. Feeling happy, right? So first day, first job, everybody is an idealist. You want to do the best you can do, you want to make a name for yourself, you want to stand out, you want to make money, you want to do good for the world and good for your employer, employment, whatnot, whatnot. Then what happens? Then reality bites. Right? Things happen to you. For example, your boss might call you and say, you know, you just graduated from school, from business school, you've come here, I want you to be my executive assistant for the next 3 weeks and I want you to tell me what do you think about my leadership style. So, first day, first job, you are an idealistic chap, you have been told about the value of speaking the truth, and so on and so forth. So, you watch this boss for 3 weeks and at the end of that you give him this report. And the report in one word says, your style stinks. So the boss will take the report and he'll look at it and he will then say, you know, you are a young guy, you just came out of school and so on and you really haven't seen the world, but thank you very much, this is a very nice report and I'm sure this, I'm going to look at this report and it goes in the garbage and you still believe that that happened only because there's gravity and it couldn't have gone up so it went down. And that makes you an optimist. However, such things do not stop. That's not the only time that will happen to you. You will get whacked and you will get whacked again and you will get whacked again and again and again. And gradually you start going on the slide and that you become what's called a realist. You say, well, after all, this is India. Who said how can you succeed without corruption? How can you succeed without giving a bribe and so on and so on. All of those ideals you had on day one, I will not do it because this is against the law of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You say, no, but you see, after all, who is more understanding than Allah? And then you go a step further and you become what is called a pessimist. So when you are in this pessimistic state, somebody will come and tell you, Yawar Baig is having this session on entrepreneurship, why don't you come? You say, yeah, of course, well, let's go. So what are you going to do? I will go drink some tea, eat some samosas, hang out with some friends because a lot of other friends are going to go there. The guy said, no, hold on. I mean, he says all these things about idealism and being honest and so on. He said, well, hold on. What is he going to say? He is the imam of the masjid. You want him to sit there and say steal and take bribe? Obviously, he has to say that's his job, man. That's his job. धंधे की बात है, बोलना पड़ता है, और क्या बोलेगा ने? झूठ बोलने के लिए बोलेगा नहीं बोलेगा. So why are you going? For the samosas. Right? Pessimistic. And then you go another step which is called the cynic. And cynics are very popular because cynics make cynical jokes which everybody laughs at and they are very good at parties and so on and so forth. So that's also a benefit of being a cynic. And finally, you become completely indifferent. And somebody says, well, why are you indifferent? Don't you want to change the world? He says, me, world. Why am I telling you the story? Why am I telling you this story? I'm not telling you this story so that you go into a deep state of depression. I'm telling you the story because of one truth. And that truth is that flame of idealism which you had in your heart on day one cannot be extinguished. It is linked to your breath. That flame will die when you die. But it can be dampened. So no matter what you do, the flame will get dampened, but it is still there in your heart. Even when you are at the bottom of the pit and digging, and that is when you are indifferent. Then what happens? Then comes along an idealist and the guy talks idealistic things and he lives that talk and he shows that by his actions. What is the first thing that happens to that person? People will laugh at him, people will push back, people will try to fight him. People will call him unrealistic, people will call him stupid and foolish, people will do many things, but the person does not give up. He doesn't give up. And gradually you will find that flame in your heart which got dampened down to a single spark starts to get some energy. Until one day that flame again flames as high as it was on day one, and you find that you are now following this person who was idealistic. Key thing is that you need to have the flame, because you can't light a fire from a dead lamp. And that's why I say that the most powerful change to transform the world is to move from the world is responsible for me to I am responsible for the world. And that's, in my words, the translation of the hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, where he said this ummah is responsible for every individual of the ummah, and every individual is responsible for the whole ummah.